I'm Lisa Berry.
Arlene Schofield.
My name is Shireen Snow.
My name is Carla A. Mouse.
Diana Camuto.
This is Christine Dunford.
I'm me, Eden.
Caroline Macy. This is Walker Fannin.
Marianne Camille Dixon.
I'm Miss Dates Woodham.
My name is Linda Preston, and you're watching the Keith Andrew Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew. I'm here with Phil and John, and I just want to say thank you for joining us for the talk show.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, we are glad to be here.
For people who want to know what the talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. But you should never give up, and you should prove people wrong. You should prove to them that labels don't dictate who you are and who you're going to be, and you should prove to them you can break the labels. So hashtag break the labels. So that being said, a half hour, 36 minutes of your time. Say anything you want, get up, walk around, so you can give us a tour of your place if you want. This is your time, whatever you want to do. And starting off, for both of you, what can you tell us about yourselves?
Okay, let Phil start.
I am a professional comedian. I am working on a couple shows coming up. Broadway, March 1st. I have a big show coming up, and then Caroline's in April or May. I have to find the official date. Yes, and I have an actor as well. Carl and I started our first feature film together, or my first feature film together as leads. So
we actually met. We were doing an original play that was premiering down here in the Jersey Shore, part of a play festival, and a lot of people liked the play. It was a two-person play, so it was just us, and yeah, and we had a lot of people saying, "Well, you should do something with it," and basically, I sat down with the director and the writer of the play and made a screenplay version, and we filmed it over the summer, and now it's being edited, and it'll be it's getting ready to be presented to the public, either as in festivals and hopefully on demand one day. So that's how we became friends and started writing together and hanging together. And he's the comedian, I'm the actor-writer, and I sometimes say funny things, and we develop and he always says funny things. It's more rare for me to do it, but so I'm the actor-writer, he's the comedian-actor, and I'm what, 20 years older than you, but
10 years older.
Okay, 10 metric, but and we became friends because we have just a desire just to keep creating new stuff, just to keep creating comedy, to keep creating sketches and drama.
Anything.
I believe, because the fact that you took the initiative to make your own talk show, I believe that in life, to get anything, you can't wait for it to come to you, right? That's how I feel. You have to get out there and just make something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's not going to magically fall into your lap. If you're very passionate about something, you should just get up and do it.
Oh, yeah. And this one, being an actor, I'm a little more, I don't know. He is conditioned to get on stage time and time and time and time again as a comedian. Actors were more protected. We have our costumes, we have our, and you definitely know with a comic you could be working 2 times, 3 times a night, and then here and there. So he's got the thick skin. So I'm the more sensitive one that I don't take criticism well. Then again, I'm Italian. So. But he's the funny one who just has that energy that keeps going, and it rubs off on me to keep me going. So the fact that I'm older, he's making me act younger. Yeah.
Well, it's always good to have someone in your corner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And again, the fact that I'm Italian, nobody will mess with him.
Yeah, and have someone in your corner that can cook.
Okay, yeah, I cook. I cook a little bit. It's the Italian birthright. If you like to eat, it's what? You want to be an actor, comic, you make your own opportunity. You like to eat, you learn to cook. It's very easy for me to know that. And plus, it's less expensive than going out.
Yes, true.
So you've been a comic for a long time, right?
It's been 3 years as a professional comedian.
Professional.
I did all 4 years of college before that, and it's been my dream to do it ever since I was a kid, ever since I knew what it was. I would be in my room with a TV remote control, just pretending I was telling jokes on stage, and watching a different comedian on Comedy Central Presents every single night. I didn't care who it was. I love the fact that you could just be up on stage and telling jokes in front of hundreds of people and making everyone laugh. And I love that. And I started writing stories in high school. And I grew up in a very religious, conservative home, so me doing comedy is like the last thing that my parents ever wanted me to do. But they're very supportive now. And I remember my senior year of high school, I was supposed to do this talent competition. And I was you know what, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try stand up for the first time. And nobody even knew at this point, but I was like, I'm going to do it. And then the day before, they ended up canceling the event. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm not going to do it here. But then I ended up going to Salisbury University, where I was studying exercise science and nutrition. And they had Last Comic Standing, a competition for the students to see who was Salisbury's funniest person.
Just so you know, by the way, he went to school for exercise, nutrition. This guy's jacked. I look like Mr. Potato Head. This guy's jacked. I don't know if you could tell in the screen, but he's jacked. So
so they had Last Comic Standing, and I told my roommate, I was like, dude, I think I'm funny. And he was like, well, go for it. And I went for it. I was the only freshman to go to the finals out of 7 seniors, and I ended up winning Last Comic Standing. I won again the next year, and then I did all 4 years of college. I thought I lived the dream. I thought that was it, so I ended up getting a job as a personal trainer in a gym, and a couple months into the job, a woman by the name of Jessa Reed came up to my desk, and she's like, I'm trying to lose 20 pounds before I go on tour. And I asked her, well, what are you, a singer? What do you do? She's like, I'm a professional comedian. And I was like, holy crap, I will train you for free if you give me the comedy role. And she was like, deal. So we just trained in the gym, and she helped me get stage time and put me on shows and stuff like that, and I've been doing it ever since. So it's been a pretty cool road so far.
Now, I was going to ask you, what comedians influenced you to get to this type of career?
Yes, well, my top is Robin Williams. He's been my guide, my someone I've always looked up to. Jim Carrey is a big one. I love Bill Burr, John Mulaney, Tom Segura. I'm a big fan of all these guys. I have like comedians that I've always watched as a kid. I've always just enjoy different aspects of how they do comedy, and like some people are more physical, and some people just I like their style of telling jokes, and you can learn so much from watching the professionals do what they do, and like kind of build yourself through different styles that you like, and create your own character and your own view of comedy.
Yeah,
that's one thing I like about Phil, because I am not a comedian, because I think you need to have a special something to be able to constantly stand up there and repeatedly, die, because comedians call when you're bombing, it's only except dying I hear is more pleasurable than dying on stage. He is the type of guy though who is in it, but when you meet some comedians, not all, they seem to be very closed, and he genuinely loves other comedians and loves comedy, so he's very open, and he's not one of those that are very narrow-minded. He actually cares about the history of comedy, and what makes one person funny when another person really isn't, and the differences between them. And I think that's cool. So as an older guy, I'm like, good job, young man. Studying comedy. I think it's important to study what you do, I find. Anyway, yeah. I'm old-fashioned.
Say, sometimes the old ways are better.
I think so.
I agree.
I mean, if it's good, why bother changing it for the sake of changing it?
That's true. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, not at all. I was just thinking that a lot of the things that we do, I mean, stand-up hasn't changed a whole lot. How it gets out there, like you know, having your own talk show here and everything, and Skype and everything. When I was growing up, there were next to no comedy clubs, and then they were everywhere, like in the 80s, 90s, and then all the comedy clubs went away, and then there were just select ones, but everyone went to TV. But it always boils down to having someone stand up on stage and tell you how he or she sees the world. And if you're lucky enough to have a best friend whose job it is to make things funny, it makes your own life a lot more fun. I will tell you that. It's hard to be really depressed around him because he's so fun.
That's true. I met some comedians. I met Steph Myers.
Oh, Seth Meyers.
He came to Potsdam, and when my brother went to college, he's like, "Oh, on that day, Steph Myers is coming around," and I was like, "Okay, I would like to go meet him." But looking back at it, he was the nicest guy I ever met. Mm. But at the time, I was so fixated on what was his name? He's the guy who makes fun. His name Pablo. He's kind of like a Spanish guy. He kind of has like a hairstyle, but he's like the tortilla guy. He makes fun of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Is the voice.
Oh yeah, he's a Francisco Pablo.
Yes.
Yes. He's so good.
I was disappointed when I got to meet him and say, "Hey, you're really funny." And I was kind of like a dick to Steph Myers, and not to deliberate. It's like, "Nice to meet you." Okay, and I went over to Pablo and a big think you're really funny, and he's like, and he signed the autograph and he blew me off. It's like, okay. But Steph Myers was really nice. He took the time to talk to me. He said, "Did you enjoy the show? Did you have fun? What jokes did you like?" So if you compare the two, Steph Myers is really a better person.
Well, I mean, I think being on stage, either as an actor or as a comic or both, that you show what you are just with more energy.
Yeah.
You amplify what you already have. And if you're a bit of a dick, I think it will eventually show. Mm-hmm. You know, like I think my favorite people are generally known as being nice people, and you've worked with some good ones. Like you know, what, Seinfeld you met?
Yeah, Seinfeld. And Seinfeld, I have a lot of respect for him, but he's more of a not to say he was rude, but he just wanted to do his own thing, which is understandable. Like,
tell him what he said. The line about how he could talk to a whole crowd.
Oh yeah, yes. He said, I'm quoting him. He says, "I can talk to all of you, but I can't talk to a single one of you." So it's like a social thing. He can talk on stage, but he just doesn't like to talk to people.
But he's not out and out rude.
Yeah, no. Yeah. He acknowledged me, but I just could tell that he just wasn't.
I think the best comics are the ones who actually care about their fans, and if you want to like be a head case and like be all, I'm being bothered by you and this, then you don't deserve the love of the fans. I find. I mean, you know what? When we become really big and famous, I'm gonna prove it.
Yeah, yes, it's very true.
Anybody I've met who was really, really good was really, really nice too. Mm-hmm. They may be tired, they may be going through stuff, but they don't act like because people will find out nowadays. I mean, look, everyone could be online. People can put you on YouTube like that. So if I ever catch you being a dick, I'm gonna give you the back of my hand. You know what I'm saying?
And you will.
Please excuse me 1 minute. We have a gig tonight where we're performing, so I just go make sure because this one will forget everything. I'll be back in 2 shakes.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you guys are willing to work together, I would love that. You help me, I help you.
Yes, of course.
Now, what about you mentioned like Jim Carrey and Seinfeld?
Yes.
What about Robin Williams? But I didn't hear you mention Dennis Leary and George Carlin.
Oh well, George Carlin is definitely a top. And so they're both geniuses, Dennis Leary as well. I think I have more respect for George Carlin now as an adult than I did growing up, just because he's one of the legends of comedy. You know, he's had so many specials and all this other stuff. So he's like definitely someone that I really learned from more recently than I have like growing up. Like, because I guess it was growing up in a very strict home that I didn't really understand his humor. I didn't really understand what he was trying to say, his message, but now I see that he was a comedian way ahead of his time, and so is Dennis Leary. I mean, they're both fantastic comedians. And I think that now as an adult and getting into the business for a little while, that I have way more respect for them because I can understand the art now. I understand the art of comedy and what they took and the work that they put into their routines to make it not only funny but a message and to give people a message of something that is a bigger meaning than just comedy. So
absolutely. I do have a couple questions for you guys off the air. But I was wondering while I was still on the subject, have you ever thought about doing like a Hoboken Film Festival or doing like one of those? And also, have you thought about going to Comic-Con?
I would love to go to Comic-Con. I think that would be a fun experience. Never been in my life, but that would definitely be fun. I'm the same thing with the Hoboken Film Festival. Like we said at the beginning, him and I did a feature film this summer, and we're working on getting into festivals and anywhere we can get exposure for the movie or whatever projects we're working on would be incredible. So we have our eye out for that. For all the festivals, for all the competitions, for anything that we can get that product out there and show the content and our message as well.
Ripplesofwater.com.
Ripplesofwater.com.
Yeah, it's true. Now, for people who want to go see you, are you like based in the New York area or?
I'm based in New York, yes. So I do shows at Broadway, Caroline's, Gotham. I'm all over the city. I do travel a lot, but my home base is New York. So that's where I'll be. For the most part. But then you can check out, I keep everything posted on my website, which is www.philkorz.com, and that is my whole calendar of all my shows of where I'll be.
Well, if you ever want to hang out and go like to Woodbury Commons, I can buy you guys lunch or something.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Woodbury Commons, I know that. Yeah.
Have you ever gone?
I see you're a wrestling fan back there. One of my best friends is Leon, of course.
Yes.
He would talk to you for like 15 hours. Because I grew up with like the 80s stable. That was my main thing, and I practically went to like a match a month between being in Philly and New York. So I grew up with like Bob Backlund, Jimmy Snuka, the start of Hulkamania when it just really started. I was watching when he beat the Iron Sheik. So I think it's cool that you got the I can't tell which belt it is back there, but it looks cool.
Well, I got two of them. I can actually show you.
Show me.
Mm-hmm.
My dog destroyed this when I was a kid, but I always had this. I didn't know what to do with it. It's the World Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Belt. So I always had it. I can hide it. I was like, you know what? Might as well use it for decoration.
Ah, yes.
And you can see on the very bottom it says 1997.
All right.
There we go.
And the other one was actually, I got a lot of criticism from certain people. Basically, the point of this belt, and I don't always show them off, like sometimes I do it right now. For like an example, I would say in the show, the whole point of the talk show is to show you if a kid with a disability can still amount to something. And this belt, it's a symbol of that.
Uh-huh.
And I pretty much, to make a long story short here, I can just hold it like this so you can see it.
Yeah.
It's pretty much, it's all custom made. What I kind of messed it up on it, see the beginning on the bottom, it kept peeling off. So I had a bright idea of saying, oh, hey, if I wipe it with paper towel after I use Gorilla Glue, it would be fine. So the glue leaked out and I wiped it. But now you can see it's like little smuds.
Oh, it looks fine. I still think it looks cool.
Yeah, it's you can go to crowns.com. And for $200 and something, you can custom it. I custom the whole thing, from the logo, from the stars.
Love it.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's real leather, too.
Speaking of wrestlers, he has a nickname. Whenever we call him John Cena. Because if the light's just right, he looks a little like John Cena without the ears. That's a little bit.
Yeah, I can see it.
Well, I look like a fat Tom Hanks, so I can handle anything.
Well, you kind of look like Kevin James without the beard, and you look like Seth Rollins without the long hair.
Okay.
All right, I'll take it. I'll take his paycheck anything. But I find Kevin funny, too, so that's cool.
And the reason I got the belt is originally I got up to 300 interviews. And the joke is, but you don't buy yourself a trophy. Trophies are given to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I could have gotten a couple of dinky ones, season 1 or season 2, and I can just put them in the closet and you never got to see them again. And I was like, you know what? I want to get something really nice. And hey, I'm a wrestling fan. Why not get a wrestling belt?
Well,
And at the time, in little by little, people were coming out of the woodwork saying, yeah, my agent said, my publicist said, you ask a lot of stupid questions. You're degrading. We don't want to be seen with people like you. It's beneath me. Take down the interviews. We're going to sue you. Because when I first did the interviews, it's how you see on the camera, like the reflection. That's what the camera picked up. I didn't want to be seen. And the guy's like, if you really want this to be taken seriously, you can't hide behind the camera. You have to put yourself out there. So fast forward a couple of drama stories. I did a show over a second time, and I said, screw it. Originally, I was called uncensored. I got into a fight with an actress over it. I invited her to be on the show. She said no. Next day, hey everyone, I'm blah blah blah, and I have a brand new show. It's called Uncensored. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I was like, you took everything I just told you. Now you're using it for yourself. Okay, you're a upcoming or former Power Ranger, so I called her an asshole and hypocrite. 2 weeks later, I apologized to her. You didn't want to hear it. Said, look, I'm handicapped, I'm mentally handicapped, retarded, some people say mentally disturbed, and I'm coming and being honest with you. I'm a big fan of yours. I didn't mean any disrespect. Let's start over. And she said, we don't accept apologies from people like you.
oh,
So from then, I said, screw it. Because I like the whole wrestling thing we were talking about. How Monday Night Raw is presented by Snickers and Hershey's. So I'm paying for the KeithAndrewNetWork name, and I thought, how can I copy that? Oh, I got it. KeithAndrewNetwork presents Uncensored. Then when I had to do it over, I said, screw it. Took everything down. I rebranded myself as the KeithAndrewNetwork, and that's what it's about for. It's for. And thanks to you, we're back at the 441. Unofficially, this still antagonizes me. Unofficially, I did 772 interviews.
Wow.
That just reminds me of my failure.
There's no failure if you move forward.
Yeah, you're always moving forward.
My favorite quotation that I'm going to have to leave you with because, my nickname is Big Daddy from him. So I got to make sure all the travel arrangements so he doesn't have to worry his face about it. But my favorite quotation is, it's from the great acting teacher from the early part of the 20th century, Stanislavski. And I try and remember it. Artists that don't go forward, go backward. So no matter what you do, as long as you're in there trying and you're doing something, you are moving forward. And that's the best thing you can ever do with your life, I find.
Yeah, I agree. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break, but I do want to run a joke past you real fast. I work in a toy store. I won't mention where I work. I can tell you off the air. And there's this toy we sell. It's called Pop-Up Pig. No, not Pop-Up Pig. We do sell Pop-Up Pig. It's called, what is it? It's a pig cartoon. It's the British cartoon with the pigs.
Oh.
Lost me.
Light bright? No.
I can see it, but I can't remember. It's just a pig cartoon. The friends are sheep. And there's a part of it where the character's named King Daddy. And I'm like, isn't this a porno or a kid's cartoon? It's like, who says King Daddy?
Oh, I like that. Oh yeah, you got to call me King Daddy from now, not Big Daddy.
King Daddy.
I want a promotion to King Daddy.
Well, with that being said, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then I'm gonna pass the show over to you guys.
Me, Mark Medley.
Hi everybody, this is Mark Neely.
Barry Pavick.
This is Peter Bruno.
My name is Kyle Collier.
This is Julio Santiago, better known as Dynamite.
I'm Richard Epcar.
Show. This is Kerrigan Mahan.
This is Goldar.
And we both support
Keith Andrew.
My name is Ron Wasserman, and I am supporting Keith Andrew on what he is doing, and you better do the same, or I'm going to come kick your ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with a good friend, Phil and John. John will join us in a couple of minutes. Well, it's the last 13 minutes left. I'm going to pass the show over to you, and I do have a couple questions for you off the air, but This is your time. So with that being said, passing the show over to you. Was there anything you wanted to know? Anything you want to talk about? Gloves off. I have nothing to hide.
Okay, so what inspired you to be a talk show host?
I would say that's a good question. There's a lot of different variations of the story. I used my dad for an inspiration. He was a teacher for 36 years. You know, he met Al Pacino. He had lunch with Al Pacino. He met Tony Bennett. He was on the float with Mayor Giuliani. And he met the Wayans brothers. He had the Wesley Snipes in his class. I used my brother for an inspiration. He thinks I'm an ass kisser. I guess I am. And he had his own show. And then when I was in high school, I had my own show. It was called the Keith Andrew Power Hour, or the Keith and Tony Show, Keith and Andrew Show, Keith and Safina Show. I saw there were different variations in the name. And to make a long story short, I got sick out of stupidity. Just long story. I mentioned it in my over. Give you the highlights. This girl flirted with me. Then she made up a couple lies about it. Called me a stalker. Spent more time in the bathroom throwing up, having panic attacks. Good news was I was getting paid for my time, but the bad news was doing a number on my health. And I had anxiety growing up and panic attacks. Like, I don't know, something stupid like, oh, my mom didn't tuck me in for bed. Panic attack. Then I grew out of it. But then this girl kept running around the store saying, oh, Keith's a stalker, he's doing this, he's doing that. Making up all these different lies, same thing like in high school. And it got to the point where it took me a whole year to recover, because I would get up, oh, today would be a great day. Okay, wake me up tomorrow. That was that bad. It does give me the highlights. And I was thinking, I went to West Point. They were offering a course in custodian for people who are special needs. They work with occupations. And basically that's a group of people who have different needs, and they saying, hey, we have a course, go to West Point, 6 weeks, you can get trained as a New York State custodian. Afterwards, you can work anywhere you want in New York State, certified. A lot of use that came into. But, so yeah, I did the course. I pissed someone off. Basically, we're joking around. And one thing about me is I do a lot of stupid things, so it's kind of, I should make a book about all the stupid things I did in my life. Long story short about that. And so I left after that. I tried working at Home Goods, and this job coach I had kept micromanaging me. He kept following me. I said, I can't do it. You're making my hands shake. How about you just stand the hell over there and let me do the job? So he kept following me. It's like, nope, I don't want to do it. So it was about after Hurricane Sandy. Actually, I do want to ask you about that. Actually, it's after Hurricane Sandy, about 2013, I was sitting around with my family, and my brother at the time was talking about taking the state exam, and you were saying, oh, talk to him, talk to her, they know people, they have connections, and I said, what about me? And and I don't mean to bitch to you, I apologize.
No, you're fine.
And they said, what about me? And they said, what about you? One, you have poor people skills, you have poor mannerisms, you're not qualified, you're not educated, you read and learn at a 5th grade level, you piss people off. I don't know if that's a talent of you, but you do piss people off, and you're not qualified to do anything. And idle threats about being home and put in a group home or whatever. So I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to show you what's a disability. I'm able to accomplish something. And
Yes.
I turn a weakness into a strength because I call it the boomerang. Because I threw it and it's like, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. I'm handicapped. I'm retarded. I don't have to do this. I can sit back. But when the boomerang comes back and whacks you upside the head, you realize you just labeled yourself. And now people are going to remember you as, oh, you're that kid who has a disability. You're that kid that doesn't have to do anything because you get special treatment. But my new thing is I came up with the leash scenario, and it's pretty much, people are saying, okay, here's the collar, and here's the leash, and you gotta go, and you gotta go, and you gotta go, and then they're gonna stop and say, okay, we gave you all that rope, let's make sure you don't hang yourself with it. So that's the leash. And the other one is the glass ceiling. It's, like John Morrison, I'm gonna break on through to the other side. So I'm gonna keep going as high as I want, or as high as they want me to. And once I start breaking on that glass to go to the other side, that's when alarm bells were going off. It's like, is he ready? Is he really capable of doing this? Because he's gonna put a bullseye on him, and then he's gonna drag other people into this. That's on to break on through to the other side. So whatever scenarios, the ways to breaking the glass ceiling, climbing the ladder, grabbing the brass rings, the boomerang. So basically, I'm showing you, hey, look at someone who's classified as mentally challenged, retarded, and people are always holding, not literally, physically, holding a gun to my head, saying you're never going to amount to anything. But look at what you're able to accomplish. 4.5 years. This June will be officially 5 years. I've been doing this day in, day out. If I did it right the first time, you guys would have been 741. But I made a couple mistakes because no one helped me with this. I did it all by myself. So it's 441. But I'm showing you, hey, look at a kid who has a disability and learns at a 5th grade level. Look at everything he has accomplished, if that makes any sense.
So it looks like you have already overcome a lot of no's and a lot of people telling you no, and that's all part of it. That 741 is just a number. You're really putting yourself out there, and that failure isn't necessarily a failure because you learn from it, and you're growing, and that 741 is going to seem like nothing because you're going to have thousands and thousands one day. So, I think it's all part of it. Sometimes the setbacks feel like setbacks at the time, but really everything is for your benefit to learn and to grow as a person. And if this is what you want to do, then you'll have the experience to be a talk show host.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Was there anything the other thing I was going to ask you is, where were you guys during Hurricane Sandy? How did that turn out?
I don't even remember where was.
I was 1 block away on the beach, and I thought I was going to die. It was the worst thing of my life. There was like a locomotive going through our house, and I never want to go through that again. We were so lucky we were up on a little higher elevation, but if we were 5 blocks south or north, it would have been a different story. So that's one thing that I always thank God that I made it through in my house. When you were in Delaware during that?
I might have been in California.
But the last 2 questions I was going to ask you was, first one was when I first, actually that's my last question. Correction. First question, are you guys on social media? Are you on LinkedIn, Twitter, Stage 32? Are you on any of those?
Yes, you can find me at all those things at Phil Korz, PhilKorz, and I will come up on Twitter, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. And for Carlo, it would be Gian Carlo Durland, Durland would be his Twitter feed and Instagram feed.
Hey, well, if you can just write that down after the message, I can just look it up afterwards, and all that will be in the description box. But my last question for you, wrapping up our segment, you have a couple questions off the air, is when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction? And after being a guest, how do you feel now?
My first reaction when I read what you do, I love the fact that you're trying to prove something, that just because you have a disability doesn't mean that you can't live your dreams and do those things, and that goes with anyone who thinks that they can't do anything. I think that you're giving people a bigger message that like dreams are possible no matter what your situation is, whether it's money, whatever it is. There's no reason why you can't do anything that you want to do. And afterwards, I feel like all those people had the wrong idea of you. I think that you're a pretty nice guy.
I appreciate it. Now, stay tuned for after the show. Do have a couple questions.
By the way, I double that. Double.
And wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor privilege to have you guys on the show, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, Keith, you rock.
You rock.